should set its own example. Leka bano tafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza muganda kita okugumaza to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide. And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Is independent sound.
UBC has 11 sister radio stations spread throughout the country to educate, inform, and entertain. Tune into UBC Radio FM 98, your national radio station, Magic 100, where sports and music is our life. 87.5 Star FM in Uganda, 97.4 UBC West covering Western Uganda, 102 Mega FM in Gulu, 97 FM Butebo Radio in Eastern Uganda, 107.0 Buduri FM, 100.5 Nge FM in Kasese, 98.0 West Nile FM in Arua, Total Ray Radio FM 90 in Karamoja, and 93.0 Voice of Mundbujo. Now you're covered in your local language. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
As Uganda works towards Vision 2040, UBC Radio is dedicated to the development of Uganda. Join us every day for transformative programs in English, Swahili, and Luo. This is UBC Radio.
UBC Radio 98.0 broadcasting here at Nile Avenue, Kampala. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. It's exactly 14 minutes past the hour of 3. I welcome you to the program Young and Smart, a platform for young people to come and discuss issues concerning their lives and national issues that they feel are important to them and see how they can be able to put a brick in making sure that Uganda becomes better and becomes a country that we all yearn to have. My name is Ivan Tumkunde, and I welcome you to the show. Today, we are going to be discussing the issue of breastfeeding and saying why it is important, what are the benefits, what are some of the challenges that women who are breastfeeding, do face, and actually how can we be able to help encourage women to breastfeed their babies, and why mostly it's that important for us to have our babies breastfeed. And today in the studio, I have experts that are going to be helping us to delve into this discussion. I have Margaret Sela, who is an assistant nursing officer and a breastfeeding champion from Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Margaret, kindly say hello to the listener.
Greetings to everyone. Good to be here, and it's a great opportunity that you're going to learn together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I also have Auma. Auma is a young girl that is going to be, sharing with us her experience. Why does she think basically young women no longer embrace breastfeeding? And she will also be able to foster the questions that she thinks should be answered for them as young people to understand when it comes to breastfeeding. I also have Maria Angonza from Reproductive Health Uganda. Mariam, kindly say hello to the listener.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Agonza, and I work with Reproductive Health Uganda. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. I'll start with you, Margaret. Kindly help us to understand this concept of breastfeeding. And basically, if you have any statistics, we understand that these days, actually, it's becoming, I don't know if it's becoming difficult, but most of the young women are not really taking breastfeeding as that important as it used to be. maybe it's because of the options that now are available. Talk of formula and the rest that maybe you'll be able to take us through, and they feel they can be able to do away with the breastfeeding, maybe because of certain reasons that they may be sharing with us later through the call-ins. Uh, Kindly help us understand this issue of breastfeeding.
Thank you very much. Breastfeeding is really, really a very interesting topic because it's in our culture. It sounds usual, casual, kind of, but in the essence of how important it is quite important that we understand what's breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is actually uh, feeding your baby on your breast milk. A human feeds a baby on breast milk, the milk that comes from the human breast. That's technically breastfeeding. Some people confuse and they're like, I don't give my baby my breast, so I just give them milk maybe in a cup. But if the milk is coming from your breast, we still consider that you are breastfeeding. So breastfeeding comes along with lots of importances, both to the mother, to the baby. And when I start with a baby, they are quite numerous. Number one is you find that this breast milk God knew the requirements of a human body and packaged it with the right requirements, the right nutrients that a baby at that stage requires. We have babies, we have neonates. A neonate is a baby that is less than a month. So a baby that is less than a month has a specific requirement of the nutrients that the body requires. So this milk is packaged in that form that meets that specific requirement. You find that a baby that is newly born, mothers usually cry, I'm sorry, I'm feeding, but my baby is getting nothing. There is nothing in the breast, because for them, when they press, they actually don't get anything coming out. But you find that every woman towards the end of pregnancy has something that looks like water, that looks like oil, that looks like something that comes from that breast. That is called colostrum. And it is very rich for your baby at that age, however little it is. So breast milk is important that it is well packaged for your baby's needs. The nutrients come along with so many things. Antibodies. These antibodies protect your baby from infections. Babies that are well breastfed, it is known all over that they have a lower risk of falling sick. Most of them even have a lower risk of getting non-communicable diseases later in life. For example, like diabetes. If you feed your baby very well on your breast milk, their chances of falling sick later in life, even in the infancy period, is very low. So breast milk comes along with so many other benefits, but building your baby's immunity is one of those. Breast milk is also good that it helps your baby's intestinal lining to function the way it has to. Some babies take long to pass stool, but you find that this breast milk is lubricative. It helps your baby's stools to pass out. Breastfeeding as well builds the bond between the mother and the baby. Mothers who have not breastfed will not love their babies as much as those that have breastfed. We have stories of those, or maybe long ago, even today it happens, where maybe a mother passes on and we do what we call wet nursing. Someone else is prepared to breastfeed. They are screened infections. They are given some maybe medications to help them start breastfeeding. And you find that these people will be between the baby and themselves. Yet they are not the real people. But this process of giving the breast milk builds that bond between them. To the herself, breastfeeding helps this mother to get back in shape. It is known when you research shows that mothers who breastfeed can have a way of losing pregnancy weights when during the procedures of breast, because breast milk itself takes calories. So breastfeeding has lots and lots and lots of benefits to mothers as well. Breastfeeding will help them prevent some cancers like breast cancer, like ovarian cancers. So it is known that mothers who breastfeed have lesser chances of suffering such cancers. So those who breastfeed miss out such benefits. Breastfeeding as well is easy. You find that some breastfeeds will not so much costs like someone maybe who buys formula. Formula is quite expensive. You have to buy, if it's NAN one, it's at around 45,000. And a baby to feed on NAN, for you to maintain that, you must really have the money, because as they grow, they take in more. Remember, it's not very rich. I know it is made closer to the requirements of breast milk, but it will never replace what breast milk contains. So more than you require. For you as a breastfeeding mother, maybe you might need like a cup of porridge to feed your baby for the next few hours. But this NAN might not even take a week. Might not even take 3 days. You need 2-3 tins in 1 week. So breastfeeding is cheap. For those that are not really aware, it's quite cheap.
On the issue of using formula, is it one of the issues why we're having babies, grow in certain ways? There are babies at times you find to be obese, or else children grow faster than their age. Someone is 8, but when you look at them, you think they are already 15. But also finding most of let's say young girls getting into their periods when they are still young, or else growing their breasts so fast. Is it one of the causes? That's one of the inquiries that people are putting across.
It's quite related. Like we said, the packaging, these companies that make formula copy what breast milk has. But remember, this is it's not natural. So your body will react differently. It is really related. Most people that have obese had issues with breastfeeding at first in their early lives. So it's true. We are really running a campaign of no formula at whatever point. That's why we encourage breastfeeding at the first hour. Your baby, poop down they have cleaned your well, put your baby in the breast in the first minute, even in that moment when your midwife is completing your delivery. Your attendant can clean your breast and put the baby there. That helps the breast milk to come. Because find people will say, I didn't feed my baby because I didn't have breast milk. It's because they did not have enough knowledge of how to help their breasts to make the milk that their baby required. So, obesity, disease, or growth research also shows that some breastfed have a percentage of stunting. That means their heights, they not reach those that are breastfed. They are stunted, and stunting at that point is not reversible. Because they did not breastfeed in the first 2 hours, 2 years, they have to reverse the height, and maybe you grow taller. So it's not possible. So those that breastfeed it helps their body elongate well. So they attain the height they require at the age. Thank you.
From your engagements and maybe from some of your patients, what I would like to know is what are the biggest causes to women not wanting to breastfeed their babies?
The biggest causes is one of the biggest is ignorance. Because if you do not know a thing, you will decide from a point of lack of information, myths and misconceptions. Young girls or some themselves elites, but because their breasts are not sagging, they are looking some kind of there are things that are trending these days that really are affecting our babies. And that's why some initiatives are coming up, like what they call that a baby friendly initiative. Because people decide from their comfort zone, not looking at the baby's needs. So it's really, really true that your baby needs the breast milk.
Thank you so much. Coming to you, Maria. Kindly, again, how is reproductive health, Uganda? We welcome you to the program, and I do hope that you're doing great transformation in the lives of these young people. From your engagements, I think you can be the one to be young women don't want to breastfeed. Talk about issues of lifestyle. Young women don't want their breasts to fall or become saggy or flappy. Uh, how is your engagement with young women in as far as encouraging breastfeeding?
Thank you very much, the moderator. First of all, at Reproductive Health Uganda, we do service provision and advocacy. Our services are mainly on youth empowerment, like mentorship, training, and counseling. So in our engagements, we do work with very many young mothers, the teenagers who get pregnant, and some of the challenges they face, they present with is lack of time. Is one of the challenges that they face in breastfeeding. As most of them, they have busy schedules and find they work maybe in offices where they are only given, as we all know that the maternity leave in Uganda is only 3 months. So after the 3 months, they find it very hard to get time to do the breastfeeding. But when they come for services, because we have counseling services, we have antenatal youth services, and we encourage them. We do cervical cancer screening and breast cancer screening. So as she earlier talked about, one of the risks of not breastfeeding, you can develop breast cancer and the other cervical cancer and what. So since our engagements are also about screening for cancer, breast cancer, when we are doing these screenings, we always encourage them, we guide them, we do the counseling, and we tell them the benefits of breastfeeding, like she has already talked about it. Yes, as you talked about, most of them are fearing their breasts might fall. We talk to them because some of them are misconceptions. They lack the confidence, they lack the skills, like the breastfeeding skills. Some of them, they are first time mothers, so we guide them on the best methods of breastfeeding. We give them the confidence not to fear, as in it is something that is normal for every mother, even if they are teenagers, and we tell them basically the benefits of breastfeeding, like she has talked about.
Okay, maybe Oma can be the one to tell us basically why are your fellow young women not interested in breastfeeding? What are some of your fears actually for you as an individual? What is it that would at any time, discourage you from breastfeeding your baby?
Okay, thanks very much, the host, Mr. Ivan. As you already mentioned, that my name is Alma Oliver. One of the fears as the youth or as the generation of these days, as mothers, we do fear is that, first of all, my colleague has said about breastfeeding is good. Yes, it's good to the baby. Then the question goes back, how is it also good to the mother? Because at the end point of it, I'm going to breastfeed and my breast will remain flapping. And after all, well, it is a standard that when the breast is flapping, it will not go back to what? To the normal size. And yet someone wants it to still remain what? Pointing.
Why do you want to keep your breasts pointing?
Just to remain in the normal state, but when you breastfeed, it can really flap a lot. And I think it's one of the major reasons contributing to low breastfeeding rate in our country or in the whole world today. Because one of it is that one of the solutions that the youth or the technologians has come with, it's that they've brought up there's a machine that most modernized mothers use, that you first remove the breast milk, then you feed the baby in the
Pumping.
bottle. Yeah, you pump the breast milk, then maybe in your absence the maid can give the baby. Then now
Why don't you want to have interaction with your baby? I think that should be an opportunity for you to do bonding and understand if your baby is having any challenges, if your baby is sick. That's the time you're supposed to be identifying all
Yeah,
that.
then that's come now to the policymakers, because the policy tells us that the maternal leave, it's only 3 months. So you can say that within that 3 months, the baby will be stable and free to live without the mother, only with the maid. So that's mean if it's really to be prolonged for me to take time with my baby, then the maternal leave months, or it should be increased, because you can't tell me that 3 months my baby will be stable and free to live with the maid. That is impossible. Nor the siblings. Then what I want to ask from my fellow around is that what is the proper age for breastfeeding? Because most of these days now we see after the 3 months, most mothers leave their babies because they believe that's the end of breastfeeding. So what should be the proper age? And if is there a proper age, is there any policy that you people are going to put up to go and tell the policymakers that the 3 months they give to breastfeeding mothers, it's not enough? It affects them and also affects the baby. Thank you.
Margaret.
Yeah. The appropriate age of breastfeeding, exclusively 6 months. Exclusively means not anything apart from maybe a prescribed medicine. Your baby has a flu, has a cough, has maybe something, and your doctor says, go and give this syrup or something. Nothing, water, no juice, no anything apart from breast milk. You can choose to give it direct to the breast, or you can choose to pump and give by a cup, not a bottle. Those two things are different. Bottle feeding and cup feeding are different, but bottle feeding is bad, cup feeding is good, provided you're giving breast milk. So for 6 full months to nothing apart from breast milk. Continue up to 2 years, but at 6 months, introduce other foods. Give the juice that you wanted to give. Give the avocado. Give the bean. Balance the diet, because at this point, food, but it's not enough. The requirements of the baby has grown. So your baby needs more than just breast milk, but still needs the breast milk. At least for 2 years. At 2 years, you can continue or to stop. If you choose, like, oh, maybe just other cultural issues. But the same mothers who get pregnant along the way. Breastfeeding is a family planning by itself if it works for you, because it will not work for everyone. But the method and you get pregnant, maybe 6 months later, still continue breastfeeding your baby. If you're pregnant. Yes.
Then maybe if it's like breastfeeding, it should go up to 6 months. So from Mary, are you going to?
Sorry, before you can continue, apart from for HIV positive mothers.
Exceptions.
So that means those who are HIV positive, they can't go up to 6 months, right?
No,
Yes.
not 6 months.
Mhm.
Okay, for positive mothers, for HIV positive mothers, they're supposed to breastfeed still exclusively up to 6 months. Then they can add the other foods up to 12 months. Yes, that's 1 year.
So in that 6 months, remember I'm working. I am an office lady. I'm being supervised by my boss. How do you expect me to? Because they say breastfeeding is nice when you're with your baby all together, and I can't carry my baby to my office. So, as the reproductive health, you said you're doing advocacy and service provision. Is there a chance that you're going to advocate for the increase of the maternal leave in order to help the mothers who are in offices and also the babies as one?
The possibility is there, but still it has its own disadvantages. We are going to have very many cases of maybe the boss is getting biased about employing women, because if you consider you're going to go for a maternity leave of 6 months, that's too much. So, but we are trying.
So that's mean you're going to kill the baby's health while considering the what? The
No,
employment.
no. There's
Thank you so much. I'll
there's
pick
still
it. I'll pick it from here. I think Margaret can help us on how we can be able to breastfeed at the same time work, and we find that we are not affected at our workplaces, but at the same time we do take care of the babies.
Thank you very much. We can do all things. You can breastfeed, you can work. At a point, because remember, mostly you're not going to work 24/7. You're at work for some hours and you're at home for some hours. You have a few days at home, maybe, and a few days at work. So with your baby, maybe the first 6 months, the first 3 months, do exclusively for those 3 months. Put the time, except maybe you're going to the market and you're not going to move with your baby. You can leave some breast milk at home, they'll give it. But stored at room temperature for 3 hours. At room temperature for 3 hours. It's not in the fridge, it's not anywhere, but it's just in you get. So if you're going away for maybe less than 3 hours, you can leave it at room temperature. If you're going to be away for quite long, 8 hours, maybe that's your work shift, or 12 hours, that's your work shift. Express more breast milk. You can refrigerate it. If you refrigerate it, it can go for 3 days. And that will saying something, even up to 8 days, but you have to know the temperature. You freeze it. Not when you warm milk, do not use it. You have a freezer or a refrigerator, warm water, give it to your baby. When it's slightly warm, the one keep it, discard it. That means pick only what your baby can take. If your baby needs more, pick another one, and that is not from you. Yeah, have I answered it?
Surely you do. At the same time, if you say don't give milk to the baby that is not yours, how about for those women who completely fail to have breast milk, but also babies that do lose their mothers? In such kind of instances, what is supposed to be done?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very important. Not every mother can breastfeed. Some don't, some do not know. Some, he said, they fail to establish lactation. It is you country we have in Zambia hospital that has a milk bank. You can contact them because we have the blood bank. Whatever they keep is from mothers they have screened and they are sure are free of HIV, are free of hepatitis and those other infectious diseases. If can give you the breast milk, they screened and they give it to you. Provide the consent between the person. You have allowed to give it to you and the person has allowed to give that milk to you. It's formula milk. So it's allowed provided the person is free of infections and the two parties have agreed to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. Can one be able to breastfeed while pregnant? Because you'll find some instances where one has just given birth and after 2-3 months they get pregnant. Can they be able to continue breastfeeding their baby?
Yes, they can. They can continue breastfeeding. You said after, but remember, breastfeeding itself is a family planning. So the chances are low that you'll get pregnant when the baby is still very young.
Is that true, Margaret? Because I've seen women that have given birth after 2-3 months.
They are pregnant. Yes. It's a family planning, but not to everyone. We have a small late. In the early days, it used to work for our mothers, but of late, it is not really working very well. That is why programs like postpartum implanon, postpartum IUDs have come up, because we are sure these mothers are getting pregnant. And one thing, which is very, very bad, they are sure, how will they see me? I've just when I'm pregnant, so the stigma around that. So, as but these days, actually, we do not encourage you to that you're going to breastfeed, because then you have to be breastfeeding at least every 2 hours. That 12 times that day. Want that to feed that hormone that is called prolactin, that for fertility low, but the baby on the breast, the low goes, and you get fertile in those hours. And you can't feel it. The higher prolactin levels, the lower your chances of ovulation. So you're not at home. So really completely encouraged, because it's no longer working well. So you go for something else. So in case, please continue breastfeeding.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. And really, we are grateful for those submissions. We'll go in for a short break and we'll be right back. We are still discussing the issue of breastfeeding.
As Uganda works towards Vision 2040, UBC Radio is dedicated to the development of Uganda. Join us every day for transformative programs in English, Swahili, and Luo. This is UBC Radio.
Chairman, you fell into things. Look at how your skin is glowing.
Which things?
The Parish Development Model money.
Madam Wete, PDM money is not for leaders to enjoy now. This is an initiative of the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, which is designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. Everyone who earns below 1 million a year like you can benefit from PDM.
But how?
Now listen, you simply need to join an enterprise group in our parish. Let it be registered, then you can apply for the PDM funds. It is as simple as that.
Really?
Yes.
Let me go and do it now. God bless you, Chairman.
You too, my dear. You too.
The Parish Development Model is an initiative of the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. PDM, My Parish, My Development, My Life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
PDM.
Poverty in your life is just about to die. The Parish Development Model, PDM, is here to transform your life.
Now me, Mari, is a villager with one goat. How can I even benefit from this so-called PDM?
Mariza.
What, neighbor?
Mariza, stop complaining. I have overheard you complaining about the Parish Development Model money. But what you need to know, everyone who earns below 1 million shilling per year like you can benefit from PDM.
Tell me how.
What you need to do is simply join an enterprise group of other goat keepers in our village. Then our LC chairperson, the one you know, will guide you on how to register your enterprise. Our vegetable growing group is already registered.
Really?
Yes.
Let me do it now.
Just do it now.
Thanks, neighbor, for opening my eyes about PDM.
You're welcome.
Let me even hurry and go to the chairman. Where are my shoes?
You hurry now. The Parish Development Model is an initiative of the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. PDM, My Parish, My Development, My Life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda. Independent sound.
UBC has 11 sister radio stations spread throughout the country to educate, inform, and entertain. Tune in to UBC Radio FM 98, your national radio station, Magic 100, where sports and music is our life. 87.5 Star FM in Uganda, 97.4 UBC West covering Western Uganda, 102 Mega FM in Gulu, 97 FM Butembo Radio in Eastern Uganda, 107.0 Buduri FM, 100.5 Nge FM in Kasese, 98.0 West Nile FM in Arua, Totore Radio FM 90 in Karamoja, and 93.0 Voice of Mundbujo. Now you're covered in your local language.
UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
PDM. Are you a Ugandan earning below 1 million shillings per year? Government of Uganda is strategically putting PDM for you to get you out of poverty. PDM is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for better.
Get to know more about PDM in your parish by tuning in. We bring you experts to explain, clarify, educate, and interact with you on how to benefit from PDM.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda. PDM.
UBC Radio Inspiring Uganda. My name is Ivan Tumkunde, and you're listening in to the Young and Smart program, a program directed to the young people to make sure that we are able to set our mindset change and be able to benefit and contribute to our country's development and make sure that Uganda becomes better. Today we are discussing the issue of breastfeeding. Why is it important? How can we be able to have our babies breastfed the right way and make sure that they have healthy lives? Margaret, one of the reasons why some women really, get discouraged from breastfeeding is because of certain challenges like the pain they get when they are breastfeeding, or maybe they get some discomforts. What are some of those right ways that someone needs to breastfeed their baby in order not to find any discomfort like pain while breastfeeding?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, you need support from your midwife, because I need to, with how you have to do it, you have to sit or lie, be comfortable yourself before you hold your baby. You have to latch, you have to put your baby well onto your breast for them to hold the right part, because what causes the pain is the baby only onto the nipple. Onto the nipple, they'll cause you pain, they'll cause you sores, and you'll hate breastfeeding. It's very, very painful. Your nipples will crack. So to show you, it's a practical demonstration how you have to put your baby on the breast. But the most important thing is your baby has to be facing you. Hold your baby to you, tummy to tummy. That's what we say. Your baby's stomach to yours. If you put your baby stomach to yours, when you draw a line, it has to be straight from the ear to the shoulder to the hip. A baby that is held well will give us a straight line from the ear to the shoulder to the hip. They are lined straight. Do not put the breast, do not nipple to open the baby's mouth. That's wrong. Stimulate your baby. Tap the nose, tap the cheek. Let them open their mouth wide like a bird. When the mouth is wide open, bring the baby to the breast. Not to the breast, to the baby. It's the baby that comes to the breast. The breast does not come to the baby. I don't know if that's very clear, but challenge of breastfeeding are those cracked nipples, sore nipples, engorgement. There are people with a lot of breast milk. She feeds 2 hours, the breasts are hurting, they are full. Some of them, their babies breastfeed enough to them, but cannot empty what they have. So in that case, you have to use a cold compress. You can use, if you have pain, use a cold compress. If it's just full and you need to let it down, use a warm compress to release the milk. Use a warm compress onto the breast, massage it, stimulate it, express it out. If you have a breast pump, like our young mother was saying, use a breast pump to relieve the pain, to remove breast milk, because the pain is coming from the foot of the breast. If it's a cracked, the breast antibodies, it has protective issues. It's breastfeeding your baby on this other breast that is not cracked, express some small amount of breast milk and leave it on the wound that you have on your breast. It will dry there, but it will leave some medicinal effects on it. Express breast milk from the breast is painful. That is when it has already happened. The pain is already there. The nipple is already sore. Rape is sick. Don't put it in the baby's mouth, but get the breast milk out of it and give it to your baby with a cup, with an open cup. This is still well. You breastfeed your baby completely. Are we together?
Sure.
Yes. So, and also get expertise advice. You suffer after, if you have a normal delivery, they'll let you after 24 hours. That your house. If you do not ask, we will not know how to help you. We have information. Your mind is already at home. And programs. It's a national radio, and these are very important issues. So you're tuned in, you're learning, and you're taking a leave today. So get advice, consult, share their own challenges at her age. For the people usually ask, "Msawa ate chogero, mwana chogero," because drink apart from breast milk, so is helpful to you and your baby. So put the breast. If the and some inflammation of the breast, mastitis, that's when to get some antibiotics to seek you get. But at home. Thank you.
So, from all that you have talked about, where does it leave mothers that do breastfeed while sleeping?
Like we said, facing you, lying on your left lateral side or your right lateral side. Your baby is also lying on their left lateral side or their left lateral of their right lateral side. So that thing you do not is the close the breast. Yeah? Let up even down. You'll feed well. If your baby is fed you and your baby has opened his mouth very well, it's also not a bad position for breastfeeding.
What usually causes some mothers not having enough breast milk?
The first thing, delay to breastfeeding. If you first hour, you're recording that we are in another phase of the breast milk. So baby on the breast, okay, let's say it isn't well, and you didn't put the baby because not all babies are born when they are okay. Some are born preterm, some are born sick, some are tired, so they are separated from their mother. That also delays breast milk because there's no stimulation. The other thing is, if your baby is away from you, start expressing in the first hour. Your baby, yeah, I know. Whatever you have, take it out. If you take to go give milk, 14 days of life. If you don't give the amount of breast milk you want in the first 14 days, I tell you, you'll struggle with breastfeeding. The supplements you want to, and to get to do successful lactation. So start our baby on the breast, then latch on. Let your baby hold the breast. In the breast, the small. If you have whatever breast, take it out and discard. Some people say, Chibi, It's very bad to pour milk, but it's very bad for not. I have breastfed. It's very painful and very torturing to have breast milk. The mother. So to some of them, but we have colostrum, the first that comes. If the third day, on the third day, but you that got something for it, but they got it. So the breast number 8. Do stress number 3. Take the porridge. Have enough fluid in you. Because remember, breast milk is nutrient, the fluid. So if you take it, but the first stimulation, when you have started the stimulation. So if do not stress of pregnancy. You have this stress of delivery. Wife was very harsh on you. She even slapped you. You can't imagine. You are still crying. No, now you're on this newborn. Sleep. Please have 2 hours in to rest because and at night, every 2 to 3 hours. So the more you rest, the more you have stress from your husband, from your co-wife. You're like that mukazi. Hey, I tell you that woman, leave that baby now. Do you support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming to you, Maria. As we have seen that, getting pregnant when you just have a newly born baby can be one of the challenges to breastfeeding. But also young women that get unwanted pregnancies at times take the whole anger onto the babies. They don't want really to breastfeed the babies, some of them. What are you doing as reproductive health to make sure that you help, mothers that have newly born babies, but also, young girls that are not yet ready actually to give birth or to bear children, to make sure that they are able to keep themselves safe and don't get the unwanted pregnancies?
Well, for those who are breastfeeding, the young mothers, we always give counseling. We guide them on how to do the breastfeeding, how to balance the time. We give them procures on like how they are supposed to breastfeed their kids. Then we also give family planning. We have family planning services for all, even when you're breastfeeding. For those who don't want to get pregnant, the young girls, we do family planning. We give the counseling and the services. Yes.
And for the teenagers out there in the field,
We have 17 branches across the country. They are located in different places in Gulu, in Fort Portal, in Arua, Eastern Uganda. There are branches, but those who still don't have maybe they cannot afford the services in our facilities. We have outreach services. We go to the fields where we give the counseling, we give free services, free family planning. In as long as people are mobilized, the young girls are mobilized in their youth centers, we give family planning in the fields.
okay,
Yes.
is there anything a man can do to support a breastfeeding mother?
Yes, why not? As a as a father, this baby is yours too. So you're supposed to support your wife mentally. you're supposed to provide the food, like themselves talked about, the enough sleep. You're not supposed to be stressed. You're supposed to have enough meals. So all that support is should be coming from a man. You should not stress me if I'm breastfeeding, because if I'm stressed, I'm not going to have the milk. You should give me the meals. Like, that's how the man should come in. They are also responsible. Yes, they're supposed to support their breastfeeding mothers.
We surely want to have a healthy mother if we are to have effective breastfeeding, and therefore we need to avoid diseases, talk about STDs, talk about UTIs. How can we ensure that mothers are kept healthy and they don't fall victims of such kind of diseases?
Okay, first of all, when you give birth, it doesn't the breastfeeding doesn't protect you from getting STIs. You're still at a risk of contracting STIs and UTIs. So, as part of the services we give, we do STI testing and treatment. We do take up we do take the urine, the swabs, the high vaginal swabs. We do all the tests to take the UTI, the HIV, and we do treatment. So as part of the package, or the services package, of the service package, we do the counseling, the testing, and the treatment of the STIs.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it true that breastfeeding makes someone's breasts fall?
Yes.
Sure.
It does.
Dr. Margaret.
We've seen people who have breastfed and their breasts are still pinpointing. Yeah, genetics. Some people's breasts fell a long time before they got pregnant. So it's genetics. There are people who live, you find their breasts are like that. I don't know if I've seen these people. They breastfeed one baby tooth and their breast is still standing. So it's just, if you say for boob lifting, I know they.
Exactly. Is there any way someone can keep their breasts in shape even while breastfeeding?
Where bruh.
That's all they can do.
You have to keep comfortable, and also you self-esteem. Love yourself. Accept what you have. That it is this eye that I have. It is obvious. Can you change anything? So these people should learn to love themselves. Love who you are. Then to breast. That's why they are for us to keep the breastfeeding. That's a small issue.
Okay. Kali, thank you so much. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we're still discussing breastfeeding and seeing how we can be able to encourage mothers to take on this initiative to have healthy babies. As you've heard from the experts, definitely there are immense, benefits of breastfeeding. And if we are to have healthy babies that are intelligent, that are healthy, to avoid all those diseases, like you had, breastfeeding helps your baby to have a strong immunity, and therefore it's really very, very crucial for you to breastfeed your baby. We're going for a break. We'll be right back.
From the horse's mouth,
Linda Nakaibale Eunice from Raising Teenagers Uganda speaks about sexuality education.
So the sexuality education framework teaches young people to abstain from sexual intercourse. You need to abstain. That way you won't be exposed to sexually transmitted infections like HIV, syphilis, and all these other infections. Still, this thematic area talks about gender-based violence and sexual abuse. We have so many young people, and I'll talk about girls who have been sexually abused, who have been like somebody, you're walking and someone grabs your dress and touches your breasts. To some, that may not be sexual harassment, but it is actually sexual harassment. It's not okay. So in school, you're taught, okay, when somebody touches your body without your permission, they're sexually harassing you. If they touch your private areas without your consent, they're sexually harassing you. And then we are talked about GBV, gender-based violence. When somebody beats you, as a woman, that's wrong. That's GBV, and you need to report. So sexuality education encompasses so many things. I want parents to take on the role. Be your child's best friend. Let them talk to you. And in the event that maybe you're not able to talk to your children, get somebody you trust in the community to talk to them. And of course, I need to also emphasize the fact that all of us have a role to play at the end of the day, whether you are a religious leader, a cultural leader, or a parliamentarian. You have a role to play in ensuring that children out of school, that girls out of school are able to access sexuality education. Religious leaders do have a lot of time on the pulpits. They can use that to provide this information. Cultural leaders have a lot of time, so all of us have a role to play. Please do your part and don't neglect your children. Don't leave your responsibility to somebody else, because the teachers you're leaving that responsibility to may not be able to do that satisfactorily. So yes, do your bit as an individual, as a parent, as a parliamentarian, as a leader, and civil society at the end of the day.
That was Linda Nakaibale Eunice from Raising Teenagers Uganda.
It's authentic, credible, and direct from the actual source. From the horse's mouths, playing here on UBC Radio. From the horse's mouth.
Did you know that poor disposal of electronics like mobile phones, radios, and TVs into the environment is dangerous to human health and the environment? Dr. Abraham Mwesige, a researcher on environment at Makerere University, has something to say.
When a metal dissolves, it's like sugar in water. It completely goes into water. If you fetch that water, you're drinking the metals. If the water goes into the gardens, the crops will take those metals as they grow. Most yams grown in Kampala are full of those metals. So these metals are dissolved by the acids and they enter the water streams. They go into soil and are taken up by plants and will end up in the bodies of consumers. That means the water from Chitez going to Lake Victoria is contaminated with those metals. And the local people are using it to irrigate crops. Some of them are using it for domestic activities. Yet it's highly contaminated. And this water is ending up in Lake Victoria. Metals, they are not good for your body. Some of the electronics have mercury. Mercury is well known to cause mental disturbance, to cause madness, to cause impotence, to cause stomach complications, to cause early aging. A person of 30 can look like they are 70. If you go to zinc, copper, iron, they will cause stomach complications, these ulcers. And then also respiratory, this business of coughing, because some of them end up in the lungs and corrupt the system. The worst case includes lead and arsenic. They are highly used, and we found them in the Chitez landfill. Those ones cause cancer. When they get into foods, into drinking water, you're getting them into your stomach.
That was Dr. Abraham Mwesige, a researcher on environment at Makerere University.
It's authentic, credible, and direct from the actual source. From the horse's mouths, playing here on UBC Radio.
As Uganda works towards Vision 2040, UBC Radio is dedicated to the development of Uganda. Join us every day for transformative programs in English, Swahili, and Luo. This is UBC Radio.
Chairman, you fell into things. Look at how your skin is glowing.
Which things?
The Parish Development Model money.
Madam Wete, PDM money is not for leaders to enjoy now. This is an initiative of the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, which is designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. Everyone who earns below 1 million a year like you can benefit from PDM.
But how?
Now listen, you simply need to join an enterprise group in our parish. Let it be registered, then you can apply for the PDM funds. It is as simple as that.
Really?
Yes.
Let me go and do it now. God bless you, Chairman.
You too, my dear. You too.
The Parish Development Model is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. PDM, My Parish, My Development, My Life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
PDM.
Poverty in your life is just about to die. The Parish Development Model, PDM, is here to transform your life.
Now me, Mariza, a villager with one goat. How can I even benefit from this so-called PDM?
Mariza.
What neighbor?
Mariza, stop complaining. I have overheard you complaining about the Parish Development Model money. But what you need to know, everyone who earns below 1 million shilling per year like you can benefit from PDM.
Tell me how.
What you need to do is simply join an enterprise group of other goat keepers in our village. Then our LC chairperson, the one you know, will guide you on how to register your enterprise. Our vegetable growing group is already registered.
Really?
Yes.
Let me do it now.
Just do it now.
Thanks, neighbor, for opening my eyes about PDM.
You're welcome.
Let me even hurry and go to the chairman. Where are my shoes?
You hurry now. The Parish Development Model is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for the better. PDM, My Parish, My Development, My Life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
PDM.
UBC Radio 98.0, broadcasting here at Nile Avenue, Kampala. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. You're listening to the Young and Smart program. Today we are discussing breastfeeding and seeing how mothers can be encouraged to breastfeed their babies for all the benefits that have been listed by the experts, as I have them here in the studios. Coming to you, Margaret, are there mothers that are specifically not supposed to breastfeed?
Yeah, they are there. For example, if you have a breast cancer, if you have a breast abscess, your breast, like we said, mothers suffer engorgement. The breast fills up with breast milk and develops into an abscess. It makes pus. So we will tell you not to breastfeed. There are those mothers who have had breast operations. They are not allowed. There are mothers who are terminally ill. She has no issue with her breast, but she's ill. She's not well. Some are mentally unstable. They do not know what to do, and no one is there to help them. So you will not allow them to breastfeed. So yes, there are mothers who are not allowed to breastfeed.
Then what is done for premature babies? Can one still find a way to breastfeed them, or actually feed them on breast milk?
Definitely. Breast milk is very, very good, especially now when you're talking about premature babies. There are babies whose intestinal system is not well developed. They will not stand anything else apart from breast milk. So they can be breastfed. Some of them are too small that they do not to breastfeed. So for those, we still talked about expressing. We express, and if you're setting, we use a tube to inject the milk directly into the stomach. Some of them are in a discharge home with such tubes when mothers are taught what to do and these babies grow. So, however small it is, they need the breast milk. And the breast milk will be very, very helpful to them. Not forgetting hygiene, because infections pass through our hands. They pass through us who feed our babies. So, being hygienically clean as a mother who is attending to this baby or a caretaker is very important. So, before you feed your baby, before you do anything on your baby, clean thoroughly with soap and water. We know even COVID ran away with washing hands with soap and water. So, safe with breast milk, not formula. For example, at the neonatal hospital in Mulago, it's like an abomination. Will give you breast milk. We give breast milk because other best hands if they are getting breast milk. So these fed if they grow, if they are still fed through tubes, as they grow, they start cup feeds. As they grow, they can start holding the breast a little, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, kangaroo, as we do our kangaroo care, because for those that do not know how to feed, their mothers, who, like we say, we are talking about young mothers, they suffer with their babies in the first few days. This baby, and they have temperature, they are not vomiting, they are not what. And keep them in pamper, put them in your bare chest. That's what we call kangaroo. That the baby will every time they had with you, and they're comfortable, and you see they're breastfeeding. So yes, they can breastfeed and they can be helped and they'll grow.
Someone is asking, does one get more breast milk or have more breast milk because of their body size or age? For example, people think when someone is fat or big, they're going to have more breast milk. When someone has big breasts, they're going to have more breast milk. Or they look at someone with small breasts, they are like, now, where is this one going to get the breast milk?
No, the body size doesn't determine, but maybe age. If you, there are people who remember that the moment menstruating, that means you can get pregnant. Some people start at 9. That means at 9 you can be pregnant, but a well helped breast. So your breast is affected. If you're 50 years, your body is giving up. But remember, these days we're delivering by IVF. Maybe for you, like, I would start feeding. So fail, or you can start and everything is giving way. Yeah, you can fail. But the size, I'm small, I'm fat, I am short and tall. No, the size, no. If they're well developed, yes, they'll make milk. Remember, that is that prepare to feed your baby. You're becoming big. Your mother will say, you girl, big. So prepare to breastfeed. Prepare to breastfeed your baby. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Maria, how do you make sure that, these reproductive health services get to these, young mothers, actually before they become mothers, to make sure that this information is at every young, young mother's fingertips, such that we don't go into the ignorance that Margaret was talking about?
Well, at Reproductive Health Uganda, we have a saying that let's have children by choice, not by chance. So we see that the cases of teenage mothers and the failure to breastfeed is because these people lack information. So as Reproductive Health Uganda, we have the mentorship, we have training, we have outreaches, we make sure we give information to these young girls. We have peers in the communities who go out to the VHTs, they find these teenage mothers wherever they are, the young girls before they become teenage mothers, they bring them to us, we talk to them, we tell them the importance of, by the way, there is a misconception. These days, people don't want to believe that when these girls become sexually active, they're actually going to do that. They still believe like they want to insist on abstinence, yet these girls are not going to abstain. So in the long run, these girls end up getting pregnant because they have been denied the information telling them to abstain, and yet they're not going to abstain. So what we do, we go to those communities, we give the information on family planning. As long as the girl is sexually active, let me say above 18, these days we even go to 16, should be knowing the family planning methods that are in place. We give them the information, because if we keep in the wrong belief that they're going to abstain, we're actually going to have very many cases of teenage pregnancies. So we go to the communities, we have peers, we have trainings at the facility, we hold radio talks, we have brochures, everything, to make sure the information reaches the young girls before they actually fall victim of teenage pregnancy.
So in that case, you're engaging young girls, and most times in these facilities where they go at the same time, meet with their mothers, with their grandfathers, with their uncles, brothers. How do you make sure that the spaces where you engage these young people are spaces where they can be able to open up and be able to freely come and be able to access those services?
Okay, we have youth groups. We have projects that are specifically for you, for the youth. So, and we have in our branches, since I talked about having peers. Peers are their fellow young girls, so they feel free talking to their fellow young girls than talking to the adults. So we usually involve peers to go and look for them. We bring them to the facility, and that's how we reach them.
Okay, thank you. Margaret, do you think as institutions, but also government, we can be able to encourage women to be encouraged to do breastfeeding in its full entirety without doing 3 months, and then they cannot be able to do up to maybe the 2 years that you talked about? What can be done to encourage more women to breastfeed their babies?
Thank you so much. A lot can be done. Reproductive health is advocating. Fine, challenges will come associated with maybe a long-term leave, 6 months, but we know our babies will thrive. So, places of work, institutions should put rooms, should build places, breastfeeding places. That means they will allow us to come with our babies to work. Maybe I carry a caretaker or a small maid that will keep with my baby. I just chip in to breastfeed and go back and work. I'll stay with my work. I will stay with my baby as I'm at home. So in that case, more people will be breastfeeding. Number 2, husbands are told so to support their women because to work earlier. Maria said they are not supporting their women. She asks for a pamper. She's like, "Do you just eat these pampers? These days, a baby uses pampers in a day. We thank God that this is having pampers of 500. That is the work somehow. So if you're supportive, so if help educate the men how to support their women. If like on platforms, feeding, how to feed, I know, but not adequately enough. So extra classes of the same. I think there's a lot that can be done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Coming to you, Auma, and as we come to the end of this today's program, what is your last message to young mothers in relation to breastfeeding?
Okay, thank you once again, Ivan. My message to the young mothers is that as the young mothers, and mostly those ones who are just conceiving their firstborn children, it's learn to be open. Because most of them, they face problems, but you'll find out that they will keep quiet within themselves, trusting their husband, forgetting that the husbands they're having, they're also first parents. And most of them, they lack ideas. So it's better to be open. If you cannot be open to a nurse, at least get a health officer whom you're used to. Because you might say that I cannot go to the nurse who made me what produce because maybe I'm shy since I'm a first mother. What? But at least get someone whom you're friendly to, whom you can discuss such things with. Because I believe most mothers are complaining in the myth they believe that nurses are harsh, most of them are rude, but not all of them. It's according, because if a nurse gives you procedures to follow and you don't follow it, when you go back to ask for the same thing, it gives that person an embarrassing moment, and don't expect a good moment for the beginning. So to avoid all that, just get someone that you're used to, that you always consult. If you can't go to a nurse, we have people around the community, those who have ever given birth. Again, not go to the all the grandates who those ones who use local herbs, because your case might not be outside the local herbs, that you need thorough checkup. So let us be open to the health officers so that they help us, and at the same time we're helping them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maria?
Thank you very much, Ivan. As we are concluding, what I want to encourage the listeners is to embrace breastfeeding. But when you're breastfeeding, please, the young mothers, remember not to use drugs like alcohol, like marijuana, because some of those drugs they go up to the baby. So let's avoid them. And another thing is, let's have the children by choice, not by chance. So we don't have the cases of fearing to breastfeed because you're fearing your boobs to fall. All that is because you did not prepare to get pregnant. So let's avoid that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On the issue of drugs and alcohol, Margaret, you would maybe, before you give your last message, elaborate on that. How does it affect a breastfeeding mother?
It really affects drugs, alcohol. The number one thing the number one hit is the brain. And to breastfeed, you must be sober. There's one time I was helping a mother. Some mothers have a lot of stress, and they tell you the reason I drink is because I want to forget the stress. So this mother had her own issues, and as we were interacting, she tells me now, look at this dead body. She was talking to her baby. Baby was alive very well, but for her, she's referring to the baby as a she it will affect your psychology, and it will definitely affect your baby. Some are excreted in breast milk. So you be indirectly giving drugs to your baby. You will not get the breast milk you want. We also tell you when you come to our facility, tell us if you're breastfeeding, because even medicine itself, there are those that we do not give to a breastfeeding mother. Same applies to family planning. That will dry breast milk completely. Just like you're pregnant, you can't do it when you're breastfeeding. It will directly affect your baby. There are sleeping pills people take. If you're the more your baby sleeps. Well, this through the breast milk. Yes, I know. I needed to take some tablets. I know they are good to take when you're breastfeeding. So our babies sleeping a lot today, and I drug I had taken. So we all so it's really, really important to avoid drugs.
You can get your baby drunk without.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and last message?
Yeah, breastfeeding is key. Breastfeeding is important, and everyone can breastfeed until proven otherwise. Everyone can breastfeed, whether by chance or by choice. Your baby is innocent. Breastfeed. You can get out there. Coming up, I am a breastfeeding champion. So, baby, that will come. Get something. Yes, but if you will not get through them, and you'll hate breastfeeding. You can work and breastfeed. You can breastfeed. So to everyone, it can be done with support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my today's panel, for the great submissions, and I do believe mothers out there have been, impacted, and we shall have better breastfeeding practices. We shall have healthy babies. We shall have intelligent babies. We shall have strong babies, actually, that are going to make Uganda a great country. Thank you so much for listening in. My name is Ivan Tumkunda, and I've been hosting Margaret. Margaret is from Lago Women's Hospital. And I've been also hosting Maria. Maria is from Reproductive Health Uganda. And Auma, thank you so much for being part of today's panel. And I thank you for making time to make sure that we come here and inspire Uganda together. Remember, this program will again be repeating tomorrow at exactly 10:15. Make sure you tune in to be able to catch up in case there is anything that you missed, or else you want to have your friends also listen in. You can remind them to be able to tune in every Saturday, 3 to 5. We are always here to be serving you and helping you to learn a thing or two as the national broadcaster. That's what we are here to do. I thank you so much for listening in. Catch you next week.
From the horse's mouth,
Linda Nakaibale Eunice from Raising Teenagers Uganda speaks about sexuality education.
So the sexuality education framework teaches young people to abstain from sexual intercourse. You need to abstain. That way you won't be exposed to sexually transmitted infections like HIV, syphilis, and all these other infections. Still, this thematic area talks about gender-based violence and sexual abuse. We have so many young people, and I'll talk about girls who have been sexually abused, who have been like somebody, you're walking and someone grabs your dress and touches your breasts. To some, that may not be sexual harassment, but it is actually sexual harassment. It's not okay. So in school, you're taught, okay, when somebody touches your body without your permission, they're sexually harassing you. If they touch your private areas without your consent, they're sexually harassing you. And then we are talked about GBV, gender-based violence. When somebody beats you as a woman, that's wrong. That's GBV, and you need to report. So sexuality education encompasses so many things. I want parents to take on the role. Be your child's best friend. Let them talk to you. And in the event that maybe you're not able to talk to your children, get somebody you trust in the community to talk to them. And of course, I need to also emphasize the fact that all of us have a role to play at the end of the day, whether you are a religious leader, a cultural leader, or a parliamentarian. You have a role to play in ensuring that children out of school, that girls out of school are able to access sexuality education. Religious leaders do have a lot of time on the pulpits. They can use that to provide this information. Cultural leaders have a lot of time, so all of us have a role to play. Please do your part and don't neglect your children. Don't leave your responsibility to somebody else, because the teachers you're leaving that responsibility to may not be able to do that satisfactorily. So yes, do your bit as an individual, as a parent, as a parliamentarian, as a leader, and civil society at the end of the day.
That was Linda Nakaibale Eunice from Raising Teenagers Uganda.
it's authentic, credible, and direct from the actual source. From the horse's mouths, playing here on UBC Radio.
BDM.
Are you a Ugandan earning below 1 million shillings per year? Government of Uganda is strategically putting PDM for you to get you out of poverty. PDM is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for better.
Get to know more about PDM in your parish by tuning in. We bring you experts to explain, clarify, educate, and interact with you on how to benefit from PDM.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.